Hi, and welcome to the Plastic Surgery Channel. I'm Jim Namnum. I'm filling in for our estimable host, Bill Adams. And today we're very fortunate to have two world experts in plastic surgery, Dr. Nud Bajah from Oklahoma City and Jason Posner from Boca Raton, Florida. Hi, guys. We got some great stuff to talk about today. So the first thing I want to ask you all is, there's an article that was actually on social media in Yahoo, and it was about Khloe Kardashian, Khloe's a beautiful girl, and she took a photograph and really changed it on Photoshop. And so you look at her original photograph, and she's a beautiful woman, and then you look at her subsequent adjusted photograph, what you see is the breasts are jacked, tissues are all shiny, she added light so it would bounce off her forehead, she made her cheekbones higher and fuller, she narrowed her chin, made it more projecting, made her jawline more angular so that she looks stunning, but her neck is turned in a funny direction. And the real question I have for both of you is, what do you think about celebrities who are otherwise beautiful creating these unnatural appearances on a social media platform and therefore making women feel inadequate, making them look much better than they do in real life, and creating these unrealistic expectations for what human beings can really look like?
So what happens, Khloe Kardashian is a beautiful woman, and her original picture looked natural and beautiful. Her Photoshop picture looks unnatural. I mean, it's still an attractive vision, but it's unnatural. And I think when the public sees that unnatural image, what they don't know that it's been photoshopped. And so they think that's what she really looks like. And they come in thinking that, oh my God, if I get all this plastic surgery, I'm going to look a little glossed over and not natural. And I'm going to look like that. And I think it builds up this whole host of unrealistic goals and unrealistic expectations because, even that photo, that's her natural picture was beautiful.
Jason, do you think it's fair for celebrities to do that? Tell us, does fairness enter into this at any point?
She cheated,
or is it all about just selling?
She cheated. She's like going to a plastic surgery meeting and showing Photoshop pictures. That's cheating. We get thrown out of societies for that. Yeah. What I really looked at is when we looked at this stupid picture, how many hundreds of thousands of people gave a shit about this? Really? You got nothing better to do than look at pictures of Photoshop Khloe Kardashian pictures? Really, I think there's better things to watch on TV than that.
But Jason, that's what people do in today's world. When you're bored, you're scrolling through Instagram.
Yeah, I look at watches and guns and cars. Some people look at Khloe. It's sort of a tongue-in-cheek, but Khloe I have zero interest in the Kardashians, less than zero. I'll give you a negative interest. But, look, she photoshopped her picture. That's cheating in my book. She got called out for it. She got caught, bad on her. But it does give unrealistic expectations for some of the younger patients coming in who want to look like these aliens with this big cheeks and this, and this alien face. There's no way her jaw is going to go from this to this with anything other than Photoshop.
So do you tell your patients to go ahead and do Photoshop or use their own filters to make themselves look like aliens?
The older I get, the blunter I get. So I just tell them, you're not going to look like that. Do something else. They will do your lips. Or something else. But the one thing is, it's our job to be able to tell people what's realistic and what's crazy looking.
Yeah, I think that's really true.
What's frustrating is when patients see those images and then they read about things, they think they know what they need. Whereas you're the expert, or we're the experts as the surgeons who have done things, and they need to also listen to some of our recommendations and suggestions as opposed to just looking, I want exactly what Khloe had.
So, Anu, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Can you tell us from a woman's perspective, if you see a photograph like Khloe's, right, as it's not humanly possible to look like that. Does that make you feel, as a woman, from a woman's perspective, do you think that's empowering, disempowering? Because you look at this and you think, I'm just curious, do you look at it and does it make you feel bad to look at a photograph like that because it's so impossible to achieve?
It makes, if I were not as comfortable with myself, yes, I would feel like I have these unrealistic goals to achieve. But I also know that women like to look at pretty things. And so we like to look at pretty dresses and pretty shoes and pretty purses. So when I scroll through Instagram and I look at celebrities, I like to see what their outfits are and what they're wearing, because that is like, oh, those are pretty. But when I start to see these unrealistic expectations about body types or facial types, then that's not the same. It doesn't make me feel good or make me happy.
Right. Yeah, see, I kind of wonder if it's sort of like, it's a bit of a disservice to women. And I mean, to anyone, to create an image that's unrealistic, it's impossible to obtain. And I don't really think it provides any kind of leadership or guidance for any human being, because you can't look like that. It's not real.
That's a good point, because I mean, these people are in leadership roles, whether they like it or not, and they should do a little bit more rather than just create these unrealistic expectations. I give you that.
So it's sort of on those lines. We live in a COVID world, right? So we're all, depending on where we live, we're mostly going around with face masks on to try and protect others that are at risk and ourselves from developing COVID. And, we know that if we do something like this, we have limited the experience that people around us can have to us to basically our eyes and our brow. And I think it's set forth an explosion, frankly, in mascara sales and neuromodulators, right? Because all you can see is this. And maybe you can see if you've got any marks on your skin.
Latisse
from
also.
exposure.
People are so into Latisse right now.
Yeah.
Right. So the question I have for you is how has this COVID era changed your practice, number one? And number two, are you finding that telemedicine has changed your practice at all?
I think originally people were coming in. I saw a huge influx of people, partly because they were working from home and they wanted surgery because it was easy to take the time off. I've also had a lot more patients coming in for non-invasive Botox fillers, that kind of minimally invasive stuff like that, because of the Zoom calls and because they've all of a sudden started to see things that they didn't see before. Like they see the circles under their eyes, they see their necks, and they see things and they're like, I never realized that. And so they want those things addressed so that when they're on their calls with their work colleagues at work or their family, that they look better. And so I've seen a lot of that actually. And it goes in waves. But yes, that right after the pandemic hit, that happened. And now with the mask focus, I think we see a lot more people in their upper face, their eyes, their brows, their Latisse for the lashes, their foreheads, all that stuff.
Jason, I had a patient that I saw today who told me, I saw myself on Zoom. I couldn't believe what I looked like. I had to get in to see right away to do something. I wonder if you heard stuff like this.
Listen, I'm guilty of this, but pre-COVID, like we were doing these calls for a long time, and I said, I can't look at my eyes anymore. I was doing an eye consult like a couple years ago, and the patient said, you need it more than me. So we canceled the trip, and I have Alan Gold in the office, and 2 years ago, like he did my eyes, and like it was only because I kept looking at myself on these videos, and I'm like, oh my god, I look terrible. So it's part of our game. I always tell the patients we eat at our own buffet. So I try all the devices and stuff that we have in our practices, and I went under the knife when I needed to go under the knife. So, and I like showing my pictures. I showed it a couple of times today, some prospective patients. So I think that the Zoom calls, absolutely, people are looking at themselves. You're not wearing a mask during your Zoom call.
Right.
I've been doing a lot of necks lately because of Zoom, and it's mostly, I think you can make your face look worse by, if you're using a Zoom on your camera, if you put the thing too low, everyone's neck looks terrible. If you put it up too high, you look a little bit better. But my camera is pretty much even with my face, but I see all these people from this stupid direction like this, and it totally makes their necks look worse. One of the things that I'm seeing is I really think that people are bored to death. You can't go on vacation, you can't buy pretty dresses and purses because you have nowhere to drive, nowhere to wear them. Okay, there's only so many other things that you can buy on Amazon. I mean, I think there's nothing left on Amazon for me to buy. So I think they're coming in because they want to get some stuff done. They're bored. And I think that boredom is driving them to plastic surgery. Plus, as Anoop said, the extra downtime they have from working from home.
Well, also, they're not spending money on vacations because really people can't travel. So instead of spending that $10,000 on your family vacation. You're going to spend it on yourself.
Yeah, I think so.
I
Like
think
we all talked about, July was busy months for us because people were home. And last July, when the economy was great, in Boca Raton, where I live, everyone was on vacation. The place was a ghost town last summer because people had money and they were traveling like crazy. This year, no one in their right mind is going anywhere.
Yeah, and I think that's a very good point because, you know, if you think about it, most people didn't take they might not have taken their winter vacation. They certainly didn't go away for spring break. They canceled all their summer plans. And so, as you say, they're sitting around, they're on Zoom calls, they're looking at their faces, and they've got money in their pocket and they're thinking, I'm not going out anyway. This is the perfect time to do something. So I'm sure that that's created a lot of interest in having facial things done and breast and body things done. Well, listen, I really appreciate the opportunity to talk today. I think it's always great to catch up with you guys and see what's new and happening around the country. I appreciate your insights. I want to recommend to all of our viewers to sign up for the Plastic Surgery channel on YouTube. Be a subscriber to our channel. There's all kinds of interesting things that we'll discuss, and it's fun and informative, and I think you'll get a lot out of it. Thank you, too.